with your new friend Ty.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Tea Party Podcast. It's a podcast where you find new friends and new music. This week, I am joined by a familiar name to anybody in the Northwest country scene. He hails from St. Augustine, Florida, but now he calls Spokane home. He's got some exciting things in the works, and he's here to tell us all about it and to introduce himself to anybody that hasn't heard of him. Let's welcome to the show, Mr. Joey Anderson. Joey, how the heck are you, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you, bud?
Good. We have been working on this dang show for so long. I'm so excited to finally actually get to sit down and talk to you and let everybody get to know Joey Anderson.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it, man.
Awesome. We'll tee off with Joey next.
Forster Financial presents Healing Harmonies, a benefit concert for Cancer Care Northwest Foundation, Friday, February 24th at the Fox Theater. Enjoy an intimate, acoustical evening of music and stories behind the songs, featuring Daryl Worley.
Have you forgotten how it felt that day?
John Barry.
Don't you ever doubt this lover?
Ty Herndon.
Who could ask for more?
Leroy Parnell.
What kind of fool do you
And Tom Shepard.
say my name
Join
is?
us for Healing Harmonies, a benefit concert at the Fox Theater, February 24th. Tickets on sale now at foxtheaterspokane.org. This holiday season, give a meaningful gift that gives back and creates magical memories by getting tickets for family and friends, too. All proceeds go to support local cancer patients and their families. Brought to you in part by Cancer Care Northwest.
I hear people say.
It's time to tee off with Ty. Here comes the first four.
Okay, Joey, you know the format, so I had to change these up a little bit. Question number one of the first four. You're in Spokane now, and this is a heated debate. I'm not going to give you the zips versus dicks. We'll make it a little bit wider. Are you a crinkle cut fry or a straight cut fry guy?
Straight, man. Straight cut. The whole zips versus, what was the other one? You said dicks?
Dicks, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a big fan of the Burger King fries. So, yeah, I'm down
A
with the
dark
straight
horse
cut.
here. Okay.
Yeah.
I can honestly say, I don't know that I've ever heard anybody say that they were a fan of Burger King fries. I think it's just because they've got the onion rings, and I feel like onion rings always win out.
Yeah, I mean, I try not to eat too much fast food, man, but
That's fair.
one of those things that I could just go for the fries at Burger King and be good.
They are some good fries. Okay.
Yeah.
We talked about this a little bit already off the air, but we got absolutely dumped on today. It's still coming down outside. Are you a snow or a no snow kind of guy?
No snow. I'm originally from the state of Florida, man, and I'd rather have sunshine, flip-flops, and the sand and the beaches, man. So
Man, that is hard to argue with.
yeah, this is a little much right now. I think it's like 10 inches by now.
It just keeps coming. I'm looking out the window, and it doesn't look like it's stopping anytime soon. So, maybe we'll release this one quick, and you'll be out there playing in the snow listening to this one. But question number 3 for Joey Anderson. You've heard this one before. What character or from a TV show or movie, any fictional character, would you bring to life and hang out with for a day?
Yeah, I have heard this one, and I've had time to think about this one, and I've planned it. And, I'm a fan of comedy. I'm a fan of making sure I got a good laugh. So I got to throw out Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I think it'd be interesting just to pick his brain, just because he doesn't get any social he doesn't get any social side of life. He doesn't get those conversations. So I would just love to have those conversations with him and see what his responses are going to be.
That's a great one. If that happens, you've got to invite me to dinner.
Too easy, man.
Okay, here we go. Question number 4. I love this one. If you could have an unlimited supply of anything, whiskey, guitar strings, tacos, scotch tape, what's it going to be, Joey?
Good. At least you kept a couple of those questions. I prepared for this one. I'm a practical guy.
Fair.
So I think it's important that that toilet paper is always around.
Okay.
I got to have something, in case of an emergency and those type of situations. I'd hate to run out of it, like another COVID scenario in which we just run out of toilet paper.
Yeah, if I was to have asked you this question 3 years ago, would it have still been the same answer, or did that change
I think
a little bit? Okay.
I think so, man. I think about it a lot. I think about, what am I going to do if I have to go right now?
That's fair. That's good. Well, that's a very practical answer there to round out the first 4. with Joey Anderson. But now it's time to get to know you a little bit, my friend. You are from St. Augustine, Florida. Give us the story of growing up and let us know how you first got into music.
Yeah, so it's kind of an interesting story. I'm originally from, like you said, St. Augustine, and that's the oldest city in the United States, so a lot of history in that town, and so it's a cool place to grow up. It's in the South, and I grew up in the church, and so there's a lot of Southern gospel stuff that happened, and singing in church was the thing that I absolutely did, and I think that's what kind of got me started a little bit. And as far as music is concerned, and to grow to have a cool, kind of infatuation for harmonies and people singing harmonies and actually hearing that. And to me, that was a cool thing. It was always a cool thing to listen to, like these old Southern gospel acts like the Cathedrals or the Kingsmen, stuff like that. And the Isaacs, which is more of kind of like a bluegrass Southern gospel type of band. But that stuff is what I grew up on. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. But yeah, growing up in Florida, interesting place to grow up. And my childhood was interesting as well. And so, with, how families are, we all have our issues at times. And so, I had some tough things to grow up with, and thankfully the church was something that was there, and music was a big part of that.
So then after that, getting out of Florida, now you're up here in the Northwest, you're a military veteran. Can I just assume that had something to do with why you're all the way across the country?
That's exactly why I'm here. So yeah, I just retired in June after 22 and a half years, man, of doing that stuff. And I think it's pretty funny though. We're sitting here talking about the cold and everything. And, when I left home, I was 19 years old and had never seen snow. And so I think the Air Force thought it was pretty funny to send me to Minot, North Dakota twice.
Oh, dang.
I was stationed in Thule, Greenland for a year, stationed in Colorado Springs, which, the snow can get pretty heavy there as well. And now I'm in Spokane. So there's only one really warm base that I was assigned at, and it was next to a mountain range, and that was in Italy. So yeah, it's pretty funny. The Air Force got me. They took the Florida boy and made me, snow bound.
So you got a special kind of I don't want to call it hate, but a special kind of feeling for the snow after being stuck in all those places, I'm sure.
I don't know. Not that I've grown fond of it, but I don't mind it because there's some good things, like we're sitting at the house, kids are at home today, that type of thing, to where you can spend time with family. And so there's some good things about that. But yeah, I definitely would love to be in Florida in the sunshine right now. That's for sure.
For sure. I spent the last year in Las Vegas, and I'm looking out the window at this snow, and somebody just posted a picture from the middle of the Strip. And I'm like, I hate the Strip, but God dang, that weather looks great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure it's beautiful there right now.
So what was it that kept you in this area? I mean, you're pretty involved in the Northwest country music scene. Was that kind of the driving force between sticking around here for as long as you have?
Yeah. I've been lucky. I've been pretty fortunate in the area. So the last 4 or 5 years I've been here, and I was stationed here and then finished my service. But while I was I was still able to play a lot of shows here in the area, and I got in contact with a couple of the key players in the region, and they kind of gave me some advice and some pointers and gave me some opportunities to be able to play some music. And fortunately, I've done pretty well with that. And so it's a blessing. And so, yeah, I've been able to establish myself as far as, picking up other shows, and also got some opportunities to run and produce some shows at some of the venues here in town. And so it's been kind of a blessing to be able to do that stuff. And, so it doesn't make sense to pick up and move right now, and got a lot of life changes going on. I got a new fiance, and we're going to get married soon. So it doesn't make sense to pick up right now and move back to Florida. But I love the area. I love Spokane. I love the inland Northwest itself, even all the way over to Seattle, to the coast. I mean, it's beautiful out here. And so there's some good sides of it. And I like the outdoors. So, and the fishing's pretty good here. So I'm happy.
That is true. That is true. This is I'd say one of the best fishing places in the country. Within an hour, 2 hour drive of here.
Right.
Pretty much any direction. But first off, big congratulations to you and the new fiance. That's a pretty new development there just over the last couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, I think the last time I saw you was a couple of weeks ago, and it was later on that evening.
Was it?
Yeah, we went home and spent some time together, and I actually ended up asking her that evening, and we had a couple of days. We went out to the coast because, I mean, as you know, that night for the award show, I was super busy. And so I wanted to take a break and get away from it all. And we both did. And so we took off to the coast and spent some time there. And then we made the announcement after. But yeah, new development. But when you find somebody that's absolutely perfect, man, you got to take advantage of that. And fortunately, she said yes, and I feel thankful for it.
That's always a big win. And you definitely got a good one. You talk about the last time we saw each other was at the Inland Northwest CMAs, which was a show that you had a major part in putting on and making sure that it stayed on the rails. But you also kind of do that in another way. You're the driving force really behind this new series locally. It's called The Black Diamond Presents, and it's got a pretty similar, I'd say, mission to what we try and do here on the podcast. You're really trying to give a platform to smaller artists to help really kind of build that fan base. And before we get into the how did this come about, give us the why from your eyes. Why was this so important for you to put together?
Well, the why and how it came about they kind of go in line with each other. In the area, in this region, there's not a lot of places. Like, you go to Nashville and everywhere you turn, there's a songwriter's songwriter session going on, and you go around the corner and there's three more people up there playing the songs they wrote, and there's a stage and a place for that. And up here, you don't necessarily get that as much. A lot of times when you go play some of the venues or some of the bars, clubs, places like that, they want to hear dance music and have a good time, and so it was kind of tough for me because as a songwriter, to me, that's my favorite part about this whole thing, is being able to capture a moment and maybe be able to put it in melodic form and people can connect with it. And so it was getting tough for me to be able to play in places where they're like, I'm in the middle of a song that I wrote about, my background or something, and somebody walks up and they're like, play Wagon Wheel. And I'm like, okay, I get it. You want to have a good time and you want me to play, but like, did you hear the song that I just played? And so it was me and actually 4 or 5 other songwriters were kind of frustrated with that. And so it was important that we were able to give, like you said, the people in a region a platform in which they could go play and people would listen, and they would listen to the lyrics that were written. So that was huge for the area. We had one venue that was like that a couple of years ago, but since it's closed down, and so now we wanted to make it more of a professional type of atmosphere and actually make it more of a listening room type of feel. And fortunately, we've been able to do that. It's been nice.
Well, and you have the experience of having grown up in Florida, where country music is a little bit more, I'd say, mainstream than it is maybe up here in the Northwest. You get over here into the inland Northwest side by Idaho, Montana, Eastern Oregon, Eastern Washington. Obviously, there's that country music draw. There's so many great acts that come out of this area, but really, the Black Diamond Presents does kind of fill that hole, and it's something that I know you and I have we kind of run in the same circles around here, and I've had conversations with folks here over the last couple of years about that very specific thing. So when I saw that you started putting these together, it was fantastic in my eyes, because it really does not just provide an atmosphere for country acts locally, but for country fans to go and find those artists when they're still small, be able to hear those intimate stories about songs and that sort of thing. And you've got a couple of shows coming up in the next week. The first one, Jason Michael Carroll stopping by, right?
Yeah, I'm actually going out on tour with him, and this is the first stop of the tour. We're actually going to do a Black Diamond Presents show here in Spokane, and so it's pretty cool when you got a guy that's got 3 top 40 songs, and been on the Opry and done all that fun stuff, man, to be able to come through town and play on the stage that we're able to give him, and so I'm going to head out on tour with him and open for him that night on December 7th, and it's going to be a blast, man. It's going to be fun.
I'm excited. We'll definitely be there, but you kind of brushed over the big story there. You're going out on tour with him. Give everybody the details, see if they can link up when you're out there on the road. Well,
I mean, it's later in the year and later in the season, so it's an 8-show run that we're doing here in the Northwest, and so we're playing a couple of shows here in Washington, 1 or 2, I think 2 in Idaho. We're gonna do one in Portland as well, and so I'm excited. I've opened up for him before when he's come through town, and actually got a call, and he asked if I could actually do a run with him. So I'm pretty excited, man. I mean, anybody who can. The guy's got a phenomenal. I respect him as far as a vocalist is concerned and a songwriter, and his story is a lot like mine when it comes to our backgrounds. And so, he's a veteran as well, and he had a tough upbringing, and so we have a lot in common. So for him to ask me to be able to, take a shot and run with him, man, what a cool honor. So I'm excited about it.
Definitely, that'll be a great time, and that's December 7th. The Black Diamond Presents. We'll make sure to link all of that in the description of all of this. But then just a couple of days later, our buddy Jesse Quandt has his album release show at the Black Diamond as part of the Black Diamond Presents. That's coming out December 9th. Yeah. And this is a pretty important project for him, and I know that he's really excited to be involved in the Black Diamond Presents piece of it as well. But how important is it for you to be able to use this platform to help a guy like Jesse promote this new album and really kind of help build this up using the platform that you've created?
First, I mean, Jesse's this stand-up human being. I mean, the guy literally, I could call him now and be like, come get me out of my yard and give me your shirt, and he would
anytime.
Do it. Yeah, and so like just a stand-up human being. So when you're working around good people, it's fun to be able to do something for good people. But Jesse was the first artist that actually took me under his wing in the region. He's already established in the area. He's done really well. And I mean, his jingle at the beginning of the show is pretty fun to listen to. But that being said, like, that guy really took care of me and kind of showed me the ropes and has given me some great advice on how to continue to move forward. So it's important for me. I originally was going to open for him, but I got hit up for this tour. And so a little disappointing that I won't be opening for him. But he's one of my best friends in the area and without a doubt. And so for me to be able to be a part of his album release, and by the way, that show was almost sold out. We only got a few more tickets left, and so put him in a packed room in which people are listening to the music that he's worked really, really hard on over the last year is special. So it's really cool.
And this, I've gotten a chance to hear parts of a couple of songs, and it's going to be a really, really special project. Something not like anything that he's done before. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to be part of that album release party. But when people come to the Black Diamond Presents, what is it that they can expect? Is it more of like a listening room type thing where it's just one person up there with a guitar? Is it more of a kind of a honky tonk vibe? What do you have going on in there?
What's important to us is making sure that people can understand and hear the lyrics and connect with the artist. And so with that being said, this is the end of the third season, and Jesse's going to close that third season out. And so when you come, first of all, it's all volunteer run. So you can expect that the guys who are actually taking care of it are all singer-songwriters. They're all performers. I mean, Sam Lighty, Sam McHugh, Jeremiah Banks, Ben Vogel, all of these guys are musicians in this area. And so it's important to all of us to make sure that the show is right because of what we're trying to do. And so it's actually a classier feel. It's not necessarily like a honky-tonk type of joint. And so you got lighting production that happens in there, brand new stage, brand new chairs and lighting and everything. Everything's brand new in there. And so that room is set up for bands, and we've had multiple bands in the area. And it's really, really good for a listening room for single artists who are singing solo. I think Jesse's bringing in the band, and so we're going to rock it out that night. But without a doubt, it's important that everybody, who's been involved in this, it was important to all of us as a team to make sure that we stuck with making sure that we highlight that artist that's actually, playing their tunes.
And that is so important, especially in in the space that you guys are in and what you're trying to do, being able to actually understand what the artist is saying. And it's not just all noise in a bar is really special. But I want to talk about what you've got going on in terms of songwriting. Before we do that, I want to give everybody a chance to kind of hear what the Joey Anderson sound is. We've got the first track off of your newest album that came out in August. It's called The Lilac Stories. I guess first off, most important question. You're from Florida. I'm from Spokane. Lilac or lilac?
Lilac.
Oh, Joey. Yeah,
it's lilac, man. It's lilac.
Okay. I'll give you The Lilac Stories. How's that?
Yeah, it sounds good. Thanks, bud.
So the first song that we've got, it's called Victor. Give us the story about how this one came about.
So I told you that I'm recently engaged to Stevie Lynn, who's just a phenomenal artist and singer, songwriter in her own right. But we've been dating for a while, and I took a trip to go visit her dad, and her, where she grew up and where her dad lives is Victor, Montana, which is in the Bitterroot Valley, just south of Missoula. And I took a trip out there, and Stevie and I have been talking, and our relationship was starting to get serious. And as a man, you think through the process of whether or not you're going to ask her to marry you and how you're going to do that, and if you need to talk to dad. And it's kind of a funny story. I recorded the song, I wrote the song. It was more of like a tongue-in-cheek kind of a joke of a song, having fun with it. But I played it for him, and as soon as I played it for him, he goes, "So are you going to ask me if you can have my daughter's hand in marriage?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I was kind of going to do that." And he said, "Okay, all right, we're good. You can do that." But this story behind this song is more about, what if he says no, and how are you going to deal with that? And then also, are you going to keep trying? But like I said, it's a fun song. It's a joking type of song, kind of a little bit of an Irish pub type of sound to it as well. So,
well, it's a good thing that she said yes, because you put out this album quite a bit before you actually popped that question. But let's let everybody take a listen to it. This one's called Victor by Joey Anderson.
Took a train out of Cheyenne to Victor, Montana, to marry a girl, my beloved, my dear. Daddy said no, hell no, Diana. We don't like city boys hanging around here. I spoke not a word to the man who denied me, and burned with the passion, and I drank a couple beers. Challenged the old man from Victor, Montana, for the hand of his daughter and the rest of her years. His hands feel like Rocky Mountain stone, with a bloody lip. I'm on my way home, on a train out of Victor, back to Wyoming. Could marry a girl, my beloved, my dear. Daddy said, boy, you best be going. We don't like city boys hanging around here. Sky, I yelled, what the hell? I'll ask it one more time. On a train out of Cheyenne to Victor, Montana, to marry a girl, my beloved, my dear. Her daddy said, yeah, boy, marry Diana, 'cause you got big balls and we like that around here. Come on, on a train out of Zion to Victor, Montana, to marry a girl, my beloved, my dear. Your daddy said, yeah, boy, marry Diana, 'cause you got big balls, and we like that around here.
And that song was Victor by Joey Anderson off of his newest album, The Lilac Stories. And Joey, when you sit down to write, a lot of your songs just feel like they come from a very personal place. Are you one of those guys that sits down and says, okay, I'm going to write for an hour a day or 2 hours today, whatever that is? Or does it just kind of come spur of the moment for you?
No, I got to make it something that I do. And, you know, sometimes you do get the inspiration and you go in and you write a song and you're done in 5 minutes and it's done and you feel great about it. But for me, it's like driving a car, riding a bike. It's something that you have to practice and work on every single day. And, you know, trying to make the determination if you settle for, you know, some certain rhyming scheme, or do you dig a little bit deeper to make sure that lyrically you're reaching a little bit further to grab whatever, whatever story you're trying to tell it in a good way and in a right way. So, but what I will say is organically, I think it just comes to me anyway. So like, I like to practice, I like to write. And so organically, I don't really have to make myself sit down. I just do it. You know, it's one of those things.
And that makes sense. And I know that I hate asking this question, but I always get murdered if I don't ask it. Where do you draw most of your inspiration from? Is it personal stories? Is it lines that you hear somewhere? Where's that come from?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I think there's definitely some storyteller elements. Like I'm working on a song right now that, I played this show in Chelan and we ran across these 7 sisters that meet there every summer. And so I was like, 7 sisters of Chelan, I'm going to write that down. And I wrote it down and then wrote a fictitious story of them. So sometimes there's that fictitious side of it, but then I have a song called It Doesn't Matter, which is 100% completely without a doubt a true story and completely personal for me, where I talk about, at the age of 38 years old, finding out that my dad actually wasn't my dad, and knowing that I'm okay with it and being able to push through and be thankful for the people that were around me that helped me get through it, that type of thing. And so I think it all depends. It completely and 100% utterly depends on, what kind of mood I'm in. But I like this story. I was watching a special last night on Johnny Cash, and how he told a story was actually absolutely phenomenal within his music. And so I definitely can connect with that. But I think, the reason why you do this is, for me, is being able to get some of that stress out. And so it's hard not to write songs that are personal as well,
When you sit down to write, is it something where, you start writing and you write alone, or do you bring in a co-writer ever, or do you try and keep it mostly, your own stuff?
No, I mean, I share stuff. I've written songs with a couple of different artists in the area, and I'm in the Nashville Association for Songwriters International here in the area. So I'm with those guys. I do some co-writes, but sometimes, I was writing a song not too long ago. I was talking to my buddy Sam McHugh out of the band Jen Smoking Lies, and I kicked this stuff to him, and it was stuff about Florida, and he's like, man, I can't connect it all with this song, and there's no way I could help you out with it, because this is all Florida stuff, and I'm definitely a Montana, Idaho boy, and it's gonna be hard. And so I definitely work on stuff, but I've co-written and love co-writing. I think you get better ideas sometimes when you co-write, especially for me. The writing side, I usually do pretty good, but sometimes the melody or what the arrangement should be, I definitely draw from other people, and I kick my songs to a bunch of people before I push them out anyway, just to get to what their opinion is.
Well, and you mentioned, writing songs kind of based on your experience in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And we have another song here for everybody that again feels like a very personal song, but it's also a very specific song based on a very specific intersection here in Spokane. We talked about Zips or Dicks. This is the corner that Dicks is on, but unfortunately the song not about a bag of burgers and fries.
No,
it's a little bit more personal. Give us the inspiration, I guess, and what this process looked like when you were writing this song.
Yeah. So, like you said, Division and Third is an intersection here in town in Spokane. And, I pulled up to that intersection one day and I looked over, and when you go to that intersection, there's always like a homeless guy or some guy over there, on the corner just asking for help or, needing, wanting to get, a couple of bucks for some food and stuff like that. And as I was sitting there at the light, because it's a busy intersection, so you kind of sit there for a little bit, but I just thought to myself, man, that legitimately could be me. And if it wasn't for the people around me, if it wasn't for the help that I have, then, to help me push through, I very easily could be there. And so that song really talks about, people being in situations in which you personally could be in those bad situations. And if it's good to have humans around you that'll grab you and pick you up when you're down or, help you get through some stuff. And so, it's just one of those reminders. And so a song turned out to be my most streamed song this year, and I'm proud of it. It's definitely a personal song, and it's a reminder to myself that, hey, you can make it through it and grab a hold of your closest friends and put your arms around each other and get through whatever you got going on. Because I think, there's a lot of people going through stuff, man. And if a song like this can help somebody, then it definitely helps me. If it can help somebody else, then I'm proud of it. And I think it has for sure.
Well, I can tell you for 100% fact that it helped keep me grounded. This album came out, the Lilac Stories came out right about the time that I was relocating back from Las Vegas to Spokane, going through a bunch of stuff, kind of taking a leap of faith on the job, and just had this incredible support system. And when you dropped this album August 5th, I remember sitting and listening to it just over and over again. I want to say that it was at like Watershed. I think you released this like right about the time at Watershed. So I'm sitting outside that morning. Everybody else is still inside sleeping, and I'm listening through the album. And I got to this song, and I remember listening to the song 3, 4, 5 times in a row outside by myself to just really absorb what it was. And I'm sure part of it is because I'm from Spokane. I knew exactly what intersection you were talking about. I knew exactly the story that you were trying to tell, but with everything going on, this song really kind of helped put everything in my in my life in perspective, and really kind of helped keep me grounded and show me just how privileged I really was to have this support system. So I'm excited to be able to share it with everybody. This one's called Division and Third by Joey Anderson.
A man sitting on a corner of Division and Third, a life filled with regret, cigarettes and burning. I know it could have been me. A lady in the bedroom in the middle of the night, a life filled with worry. She stares at the knife, and I know could have been me. It's been one of those days and one of those nights when everything is wrong and nothing is right, and I know I'll make it with you. No, I'm not perfect, but I've been blessed with a chance to start over, be one of the best, and I know you've protected me. It's been one of those days and one of those nights when everything is wrong and nothing is right, and I know I'll make it with you. I'll make it with you in the silence, when I am alone, when I darkness I am thrown, I'll make it with you. I'll make it with you in the silence, when I am alone, when I am heartbroken, and I'm on my own in the midst of the storms. I'll carry on, I'll make it with you. It's been one of those days, and one of those nights when everything is wrong and nothing is right, and I know I'll make it with you. Man sitting on the corner, Division and Third.
That one, a very personal song by Joey Anderson. It's called Division and Third. Just go online, go to Google Maps, Google Division and Third Spokane, Washington. You'll see exactly what he's talking about. But Joey, it's songs like that really kind of solidify why you were voted favorite singer-songwriter at the INCMAs this year, which you had a huge part of putting on, like we talked about. But it's not the first award you've won. It's certainly not going to be the last. But what does it mean to you to be voted for an award like that, favorite singer-songwriter, when there was some hefty competition there?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it means, because sometimes you look at it and you go, this is a popularity contest or something like that, and you don't want to be that guy. But also it's good to have validation that people are actually connecting and listening to your music. And so if they take the time out to vote for an award like that, to me, it's a special thing, because they're validating what I'm doing. And fortunately, over the last couple of years, I've been lucky to win some of those awards. And the for the past few years, they've been really focused in and honed in on the songwriting side of it. And to me, like I said, I work really hard in that area, and to me, that's special. And it's something I continuously work on. And so to get a little pat on the back from your peers and the people around you, and the people in the region and the fans and all that stuff, to me, it's good to get a pat on the back, and because there's a lot of hard days in this type of business, and I've had a few. I've had a few that have made me question whether or not I want to continue to do this, but when you get that pat on the back, it's just you don't want to let those folks down, so you continue to work hard, and to me, it's special for sure.
Well, and I know that you don't want to say it because you want to remain humble as you are, but just watching that, I was so excited when I heard that you won that award. We were going kind of crazy in the crowd there, but it's one of those things where if you're not intimately involved with the INCMA, the Inland Northwest Country Music Association, a lot of those votes are from your peers. Yes, there's some fans that go in there and vote. There's lots of people that vote, but a lot of those votes are from other people in the industry. To me, looking from the outside in, I think that's a huge award for you, just to be recognized by the people around you. And the Inland Northwest Country Music Association is expanding. They had some folks over from the west side of Washington this year. They're really trying to make it a Northwest event, and really. Winning the award's one thing, you being a part of the event is one thing, but the extra eyeballs and ears really that come with that expansion, with you being involved, is really cool. So I'm excited to see what happens from here for Joey Anderson. Where can people keep up with what you have going on? Do you have anything planned for the rest of 2022 and 2023 other than your tour?
So I've already kind of talked about it a little bit earlier. So I'm gonna finish the tour out with Jason Michael Carroll this winter, and then New Year's Eve I'm going with Aaron Crawford. We're playing a bigger show down in Lewiston, Idaho, and that's going to be a blast. And then I'm driving back that same night to go to the Bing Crosby Theater because I'm helping produce the show there. So all the way up until New Year's is going to be kind of a busy time period. And then I really focused in and honed in on the wineries. I like my wine, so I really kind of looked and honed in on the wineries and kind of want to hang out in that atmosphere because it's more of a listening room type of scenario in which people listen to the music that I play. And so I've already booked, I think, like 35 dates in 2023.
Wow.
And so, yeah, getting a little bit bigger, and all of those are before July 15th. And so trying to finish out the calendar and see what happens for the rest of the year, but going to be busy. And so, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. There's a really, really probably the biggest show I've ever played in my life pending right now. So I can't really talk about that yet. And because the deal isn't closed completely, but if that one goes through, that's going to be a huge deal, and that should be in February timeframe. But we'll see how that goes, and looking for those opportunities to be able to play on some of those bigger stages and be able to entertain and perform, which is fun. It's a blast. So
where can people keep up with what you got going on? What's your socials and your website?
Yeah, too easy. So the website is joeyandersonmusic.com. There's a lot of Joey Andersons out there, by the way. So I was fortunate to be able to get that website, but joeyandersonmusic.com, and then Joey Anderson Music for all of the socials and Spotify. So Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, Amazon Music, all that stuff. If you just type in Joey Anderson Music, look for the guy who's wearing the state flag of Florida on his head. And that's probably going to be me. So.
Awesome, Joey. Man, this has been an absolute blast. I'm disappointed that it took us so long to get you on the show for the first time, but this definitely will not be the last. Sure. But you know how we end every show. It's called the Final Four. You up for it?
Hang on. Let me ask you this. Is this episode 100?
This is 99. You're so close.
Oh, man, I tried to make it to 100.
You're holding out.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. What you got, buddy?
It's time for the Final Four.
Okay, first question. What is your favorite guitar brand or style?
I'm a Martin guy. Martin acoustic for sure, without a doubt. I got a few of them. I named one of them after Willie Nelson. It's called Slick Willie, and then I got a newer one that I just bought, and I've been playing the crap out of those things, man. I love them.
Are you an acoustic only guy? Do you have any electric guitars there?
No, we got a few electrics that float around, but you know, I like an affinity of I have an affinity for acoustic artists like Bryan Adams and Damian Rice, John Mayer, his early stuff when he was playing the acoustic a lot, Dave Matthews, stuff like that. So I love the feel and the tone that you can get from an acoustic guitar. To me, it's unmatched, and you can play it anywhere. So it's fun.
There you go. Okay. So you mentioned a few artists there, but who are the three most recently played artists on your Spotify or Apple?
Okay. Charles Wesley Godwin.
Okay.
Definitely is number one. I'm a fan of a group called the Lone Bellow. And they're out of Nashville now, but phenomenal harmonies, phenomenal acoustic music. And then let's see, Charles Wesley Godwin, the Lone Bellow, and I'd probably say Adam Hood, which is a songwriter from Alabama who tours the Texas country scene. He just played the Grand Ole Opry, which was pretty cool to see. But I got to have a strong songwriter in there, and he's one of my favorites.
Those are three good picks. They are. Okay, question number 3. When you're out on the road, and this is going to be applicable here soon with Jason Michael Carroll, what is the one place that you have to stop at every time you drive past it? Restaurant, gas station, store, whatever.
I'm a gas station guy. I actually like gas station. I don't necessarily like the food, but just
just the atmosphere.
You want to take a break, go and get yourself a Dr. Pepper or a green tea or something like that. Just take a little bit of a break. Plus, there's always interesting things in the bathroom.
Okay, yeah.
I'm down with the Maverick gas stations.
Okay, there you go. When I'm out on the road, I like to stop at these gas stations and just see what random hats or scarves or knickknacks they have, just kind of lining the checkout area. Yeah. Like, I want to know if anybody actually buys those. Like, is anybody buying the bootleg hat in the middle of Washington?
I'm wearing a hoodie right now. We stopped at a gas station in Montana, and it's a guy, with a horse and carriage, and underneath it says it's a Montana limousine. So I buy them.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll give you that one. Okay, Joey, final question of the show, and I'm sure that you've got something prepared for this. If you could pick one thing for people to take away from your appearance on this show or your music in general, what is it?
imperfectly honest. I'm not a perfect guy.
that.
I'm not a hero or anything else, but I try to do the best in my performances and my songwriting to be true to who I am. And sometimes I'm not. Sometimes, you go down a road just to make it sound good so people can clap along or stuff like that. But that's what I would want people to take away from my performances is you're going to get something. You're going to get somebody who has been resilient, has been imperfect, and been through some hard times, but you're probably going to get something that's going to be completely honest and, true to who I am as a person.
I love that phrase.
Thanks, man.
It's just imperfectly honest. Joey Anderson, everybody. Thank you so much, Joey. It's been a blast. Like I said, we're definitely going to do it again, and we're not going to wait 99 episodes to do it again next time.
That sounds awesome.
That was another episode of the Tea Party Podcast. It's the country music podcast where you find new friends and new music like Joey Anderson and his newest album, The Lilac Stories.
Go tee off on the like button at facebook.com/Tea Party Podcast.
This has been a Tea Party Communications production. Theme music created by Jesse Quandt. Announcer voiceovers by Jay Gwinn. And as always, hosted by Pisani.